Hey there, I'm Gabby and I am a wet and wet oil painter. And today I want to talk about how to use script brushes. So these are script brushes, okay? They come in different lengths, they come in different widths. Important thing here is the thinner the brushes, the better. As opposed to really thick like this, you'll see the difference. So these thinner ones work a lot better. Now, I have a variety of them. I love my Princeton Aspen brush. It makes nice thin lines. They make a really good script brush. And then otherwise, these other ones that I have, these are actually manicurist brushes, and they're really, really thin, so I really like them. Now, these thick ones have a time and a place, but for nice, pretty grasses, they don't tend to work so well. So up here, I have a piece of paper. I also have canvas, but we're going to do our practice here. So in order to practice, we're just going to use cheap acrylic craft paint, that stuff. And you can use anything, but we're doing acrylic. I'm doing acrylic on here. And then, so I have some on my palette, and then I'm just going to add some water to this and get it down to the consistency of India ink. So definitely not the consistency of paint, but not the consistency of water either. So let me show you. So I'm going to just add water to it. And when you do this, you want to roll, as you can see in my fingers, you want to roll your brush. And that's how you always want to use your script brushes. It'll coat them evenly, but it also protects the bristles. And these are easily damaged, so you definitely want to be nice to these. Okay, so now, important thing, nice, skinny, long brush. Paint the consistency of India ink. Nice, smooth surface. Now, because it's paper, I don't have to like get it wet. Canvas is a lot more porous and a lot more textured, so this needs to be nice and slicked down. And you can practice on a canvas with oil paint, you know, with like some liquid clear, some liquid white on the background first if you want. But I would suggest before you even do that, that you just practice on paper with some acrylic paint. It'll save you time and money. Okay, so we're going to do straight grasses, curved grasses, and then sort of bent grasses, and then a little bit of tree branches. So first, straight branches. I'm going to show you this with a brush that isn't covered in paint. Okay, so to do the practice, okay, it's you start with it bent, and then you come up and you sort of snap off the canvas, okay? It needs to be a fairly fast motion. If you go slow, it's not going to come out very well. Okay, so a fast motion. So we'll start with that. I'll bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see this. We're going to start, we'll start down in this corner actually. Okay, so it's against the canvas and up. Now as it dries, as the paint on your brush sort of runs out, it'll start to look more broken versus nice and solid. If it starts to do that, you know that you're running out of paint or your paint is too thick. Okay, so those are just straight up grasses. Now let's say you want to make some curved grass. So this motion is kind of different. Okay, make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Excellent, like that. Okay, so it's up and it's sort of an oval shape, but you don't start to snap off of it until you're on your downward stroke. Okay, now a good way to practice this is just to sit and do this in an oval. Okay, and then after you get doing that a little bit, work on picking it up when you're halfway through it. Okay, so around and then up, around and up as you come down. Okay, so circular grasses. Now you'll see if I go the whole way in a circle, I'll end up with circles. And it's okay if you do that. You can just sort of cover it up with other grasses. I feel like you guys need to be a little closer. Okay, so circle. Now the nice thing about doing this is no blade of grass will end up exactly the same as another, and that's okay, because grasses aren't perfect. And I would suggest you don't try to make them that way. You can curve both directions. If you want it to look like the wind is coming from one direction, they would probably all curl one way. And they don't have to curl the whole way in a circle if you just want them to look like they're coming over a little bit. You can do that where you're coming up and then you're sort of snapping sideways. Now, we're going to talk about bent grass. Okay, so bent grass, and let me back you guys up first, sorry. Okay, so bent grass. You're going to come up, but instead of swooping around in a circle, you are going to come up and you're going to purposely bend back down. Okay, and then your snap is going to be down here. Now it's okay to snap sort of fast, and then if you end up sort of snapping off a little bit and then coming back down, that's okay. But the lift off is sort of down there. Okay, so bring you guys in again. Okay, and then it's up and then down. Now if you're not quick, it'll end up going back down to the ground, which happens. Okay, before we move on to tree branches, I'm going to show you really quick how to make like cattails. So cattails have full starts and full stops. That's what I call them. Okay, so you start, you push flat against, and you lift straight up. Okay, show you with a not covered in paintbrush. Okay, so it's a full start, full stop. And you can also do like where you do like little dots for like some seagrass, or if you want some like pampas grass, you can do it like that. So there's lots of little different things. The important thing here is just to get practice, and on a piece of paper with some cheap acrylic paint is the best way to do that. All right, so now I'm going to move you guys. Excellent. Now we're moved. And I'm going to show you a little bit to do with trees with these. So I'm actually going to take this thicker brush this time, and I'm going to do a tree with it. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to start actually at the top and really gentle, and then as I come down, I'm going to... What I forgot to mention, by the way, is you don't want to rest your hand obviously on your canvas when you're actually painting. There's something called a maul stick, which is basically a stick. It rests against the side or the frame or whatever. Sometimes I'll actually just use a long paintbrush because I don't have a maul stick, but something that you can rest your hand against, and then you can balance your hand while you're painting, and then you don't get your hand obviously in your paint. Sometimes, again, I'll do it right against my canvas on my painting, and then I'll just fix whatever spots I make. So, obviously a paintbrush, but the concept of a maul stick, they work very well. Okay, let's carry on. I'm going to push harder and harder, and you'll see the bristles, they like really bend the whole way over when I do this, okay? So we'll make a little tree here. Again, trees, not perfect. Don't aim for them to be perfect, unless you want them to look fake. Okay, so there's my tree. Now how do I add some branches to this? I'm going to go back to that skinny liner brush. Now the difference between the grasses and the branches is pretty simple. So you're going to start from the tree, But instead of just going straight, I'm going to sort of wiggle. Okay, and I'm going to wiggle in different directions. And then as I come up, my brush will snap off. Okay? So a little bit more pressure while you're on the tree. And then snap off as you come up. Okay? And then you'll have a good natural sort of looking tree. So that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. Any questions or comments, put them in the comment section of the video and I'll happily answer them. Like, share, subscribe. That would be very helpful. I'm Gabby. Until next time, happy painting.